www.bayhillnews.net is the parent body of Bay Hill News Network. We do Facebook Live for church service, funeral service, lecture, sporting activity. For more, contact at bayhillnewsnetwork@gmail.com or call 1784-529-8340.
Join your host, Ras Bish, for Stepping into the Light at Bay Hill Online Radio and Kankadi Radio. Ras Bish steps into the light of food and agriculture, culture and liberty. Stepping into the light lifts the level of your self-consciousness, activates your collective security genetic code, raises your earthly vibration. To win in this Armageddon, you must listen to Stepping into the Light with host Ras Bish.
Looking for a place to relax with natural cool breeze and friendly surroundings? Then check the Bay Hill Tree Bar, located at Bay Hill Cane Garden. We have everything a bar will have. We also sell Shell 20 pounds of cooking gas at the Bay Hill Tree Bar. Hi friends, what's happening in your corner? Be it a group meeting, a sporting activity, a community activity, some upcoming event, whatever the happening in your corner, let us know. We'll share it on Kankadi Radio. So email us at kankadi.radio@gmail.com. That's CANCARDI.radio@gmail.com. We are in your corner.
Island Size Souvenir and Clothing Store. We carry everything you need in souvenirs. T-shirts in all different sizes, cap, keychains, key rings, plaques and banners, magnets, ID holders, mugs, and we even carry St. Vincent flag. And that's not all. We carry Hawaiian style t-shirts and dresses, handbags with matching scarves. We also carry tie-dye dresses, shirts and tops. Everything in our store are made right here in St. Vincent and the Grenadines. So come on over and check us out. We are located at the cruise ship berth in Kingstown, Island Style.
News and sports every Mondays to Friday on BayHillNews.net on 6:30 a.m. and 6 p.m.
Boost your brand's visibility with Branding by Weeks. At Branding by Weeks, we are passionate about helping brands gain exposure and make a significant impact. Let us elevate your brand's visibility and reach new heights. Connect with us today by email at spweeks@hotmail.com or message us on WhatsApp 613-866-8939.
It's the Vin Abbott Show with news, views, and interviews. The music in the mix on Saturdays, 4 p.m. Kankadi Radio.
Thank you! Greetings, welcome to the 10th program, Stepping into the Light, with your host, Ras Bish, at Bay Hill Radio, Kankadi Radio, and Fun City Radio in New York. For Tuesday, 15th October 2024. It's our 148th program since we started on the 4th of January 2021. Here we are. Yes, that was our theme song. Exodus, because we are moving out of Babylon. The slight feedback, please, slight feedback. So we're saying Mahapotep to all listening and following this program. It's good to be here with you again for another program. And I know that you had linked up all your friends, loved ones, family during that theme song. So and I ready to go. I always giving thanks and praise. We always giving praise to the Almighty Creator of this liberty, of this reality, of this now time. Yes, because we're living right now, we're fighting a spiritual war. This is the Armageddon. Don't let anyone fool you. Only 15% of what you see is physical. The rest is pure spiritual. Glory to the word, glory to the song, and glory to the power of the Most High. Jah Rastafari. Almighty Creator of this reality of the universe, and I give thanks for your love, your care, and your guidance throughout the time, and for bringing I here for another program. Keep shining thy light into I paths as I go stepping into the light and onto Mount Zion. Yes. Healing up the ancestors. Blessed be the high rates of His Imperial Majesty Haile Selassie and Her Imperial Majesty Empress Menen, one perfect balance. Blessed be the high rates of our ancestors in Neteru, which walk alongside I and I always, keeping I and I feet from slipping and falling, I and I hands from mischief and stealing, and I and I mouths from slander and idle speaking. I and I calling the goddess Maat and the 42 divine ones from creation to keep all I and I people firmly on the 7 basic principles of truth, order, balance, harmony, law, morality, and justice. Given I and I life over death, light over darkness, mind over matter, and good over evil every time. Ashe. Yes, my people. Yes, I man loving people. And I have to give thanks to the owners and operators of Bay Hill Radio and of Concardi Radio and of Fun City Radio New York when they do carry this program, yes. As well as to the sponsors of this program. And most importantly to you, the listeners, particularly the long-time listeners who make it a reality. And welcome to the first-time listeners. I know we have some tonight. Great to have you here. Sure you would love it and you would make it a favorite program of yours. Different. You wouldn't hear this kind of program anywhere else. Not right now. So what are the happenings? What are we looking at tonight? Yes, I have decided to just meditate on 3 main things tonight because they would cover the gamut of what happened in the week past, what should happen in this week, and where we go. Because, you know, this program always finds solutions to the pollutions. So we're going to look at Caribbean Week. We're going to do a review of the Caribbean Week of Agriculture 2024, which was held in SBG officially. Came to a close last Friday. And we are going to also point the way forward, as I and I see it. As usual, we're going to give you the biodynamic planting gardening by the moon phase guide for the period Wednesday, 16th October to Tuesday, 22nd October 2026. Okay? And we're going to, usually tell you what you should be doing agricultural wise and even cultural wise. And we're also going to look at the World Food Day, which would be commemorated tomorrow, Wednesday, the 16th October, 2024. We're going to do a preview. The theme for that is Right to Foods for a Better Life and a Better Future. You know, they always have some fancy themes, so we're going to look at that very closely and see what it really means, not what you believe it means. Because we've gone past that stage of belief right now in this Armageddon. You have to know. And you have to know for yourself. You do not have to grapple everything and swallow it because somebody said it and then you say, well, that is it. No. You know, it's the root's not the root. You have to get to the root and suss it out properly and bring the facts there. Because they only could move forward positively from the base of the truth. The first of the 7 basic principles of I and I, original people. 42 divine ones. And that. Nothing else was here before that. Nothing else. Don't make anybody fool you. Nothing else, no one else was here before that. So, we're going to look at that. Okay? And we're going to spotlight the importance of, they said it spotlight the importance of diversity, nutrition, and affordability. I laugh. I will tell you why I laugh later in the program. And we're going to say, of course, what should happen in St. Vincent and Grenadines going forward. What should happen? Because, you know, Bay Hill leads the way, and I lead the way when it comes to pointing the way forward, because I stepping into the light. You can't see this thing from the darkness. So here I go now. Now, the preview of the last week. What a revealing week it was. And what climatically a pleasant week it was. It was so because the powers that be, the ancestors, the real powers, the almighty ones, wanted I to look at things very carefully and see exactly what is happening. Okay? So first of all, I want to big up the organization on the ground, the work that the workers of the Ministry of Agriculture did. The staff and everybody else there in terms of the logistics and so on. Okay? That has to be given a plus. That has to be given a big plus, right? Everything, as far as I see, went very smoothly. Very smoothly. Probably didn't start off at full with the first day of the visit. The people wanted to visit, but everybody got to see what they should have seen. Okay? So kudos to you. The other side which you, the staff, didn't handle, in terms of the catering and so on, left a fair amount to be desired. A fair amount to be desired in terms of the catering. Yes, and this is constructive speaking. When we have international things like this happening, we have to put our best foot forward all the time. And it certainly wasn't our best foot that was forward there. First of all, we have to have an idea of how many people come in from outside who do not eat meat, who have a more vegetarian style diet. So we could prepare for them. And in preparing for them, you have to have caterers who could prepare these kind of meals properly for them. That's one. That is one, right? Not even talking about the local people here. And then, to show you the state of agriculture we're in now, we here, a green country by any standards from original, green has to be a color of ours in our whatever we do. Because the country is green. From the time you approach it anywhere miles out from sea, you see in green. Okay? You see all the colors too, but you see green. You see rainbows too because we are a rainbow country, but you will definitely see green. So we should ensure, and we have time for this. We have, because we just didn't know last week that we are hosting it. And there should really be no excuse from anyone. And there should really be total support of the Ministry of Agriculture in terms of its budget to make this happen. And the people, our agricultural sector, our marketers, suppliers, farmers, value adders, everybody should be up-tuned to this. So that when the people come here, at least 70 to 75% of what they eat and drink is local produce. Whether in the original state or agro-industrial state, value-added, transformed to some other product or produce. That's what we're supposed to do. So when one leave here, they leave with a Vinci taste in their mouth. And a Vinci satisfaction. That's how it should be. So going forward, that's where we have to pitch our goal at that level. Nothing short of that. Okay? So we have to make sure that these things start being put in place from now. Now, in terms of it was good. All those things was good. The Wi-Fi system was good. And the communication itself was good. Now, the products on this at the cruise ship boat were not advertised, that was not advertised as much as it should have been. And also, it suffered from the very slow pace, the very slow economic pace of our economy. There is no gainsaying that, none. That is why it suffered. Everything suffers from that right now. So that even though you are blind in 1.5 of your eyes, you could see that right now agriculture and food are the things of the present, and no one should be standing on that old, beaten, underdeveloping, satanic, as I dare to use that word, policy, philosophy, that agriculture is a thing of the past. That has to be sent right where it came from. Sent right where it came from. And I know it didn't come from right here. It came here, but it didn't come from here. So we're sending that right where it came from. Because agriculture must be our pillar going forward. And I'm just speaking for St. Vincent already. I'm speaking for the Caribbean. I'm speaking for the Caribbean. There were many, many presentations by regional people, by people who are national people of our region, by representatives of regional organizations, by representatives of international organizations, and by representatives of local organizations. And the main themes that came out, the main themes, not the main findings, the main themes that came out, wasn't really a surprise to I, but I was glad they came out, because this is the time when we have to take these themes and examine them carefully and see if they make any real sense to where we are now and where we as a people really need to go. Where we need to go, and not even saying want, where we need to go. Because remember, based on the theme song of this program, we live in Babylon. So you see what's happening right now in the region. Right now in the region. Okay? The countries that gathered there, the 11 countries, we are $6 billion US dollars a year in imported food. And when you look around with the eyes, not even get into the data yet, the official data, you can see that whatever imported food we're eating is definitely not advancing our health as a people. According to Dr. Henry, Professor Henry from Jamaica, and I always refer to your findings, you and your group findings, sir. Right? We are importing and consuming too much health retarding foods. And it's showing. It's showing. It's showing. It's particularly among our women and our youth. And this is a deliberate ploy. So here we go to the themes that the people who think that they should be talking down to us are telling us that we should follow. Climate smart agriculture. You heard that umpteen times. Climate smart agriculture. Climate smart agriculture. Climate smart agriculture. And for several years now I've been listening to this climate smart and looking at it and reading on both sides of the debate and so on and so forth. Who made this climate smart? How this climate just decided to be smart? Why are not the people in the sector smart? Shouldn't it be people smart agriculture? We have to be smarter than this climate. Because for sure, the climate existing now, we didn't make it. It's not totally natural climate. And we have our own scientists who have proven that over and over, and we have our own elders who have proven that over and over in different ways. It's not natural, normal climate. So I would say, when I look at that statement, climate smart agriculture, that the people who are manipulating and who manipulating the climate think that they are smart, so that they could jostle something here and jostle something there, and then we the people have to react to it. But I say this way right now, as I'm hearing from the youth and seeing from other people, and even some of our good people who are in institutions where this is the team, and for reasons which are there to them, they cannot shift too far from the team in words, but their heart is really not in it, and that's a good thing. We are the people who have to be smart. We have to be smarter than this climate and the people who think they're pushing this smart climate in us. We have to be real smart. Real smart, and that is why I always call for the ancestors to guide I and I. Right? So that we can move in the right way and keep away from these traps that they have set for us, that they are setting for us. So in this, locked up in this climate smart narrative is a big economic push by them. Everything leads to money. Everything in this merchant of Venice system which we are living in here, confronted by an leads to money. Money for the merchants. And when we get to the next theme, you will see how it ties in. So they will be selling you what they call their technology. Their technologies to make you climate smart. But when you look at the technologies closely, some parts are useful, but we can make better use of the useful parts than they are doing. They're just trying to market something. They're just trying to market something which would not benefit us half as much as if we took the little truth out of it and use our own innovative skills and our togetherness and our resources we have, intellectual, academic, practical and otherwise, pool them together, and the product of that will be much greater than the product of what they're trying to sell us. These products, these things called value smart agriculture, climate smart agriculture. Because in this scenario, they have trying to remove our genetic material, our sovereignty in terms of our food sovereignty and our food security. We are not in charge of the basic planting materials when you get to these things. We always have to be going to them for that. And we cannot afford to do that. We cannot afford to be second guessing where our genetic material comes from. We have to hold on to a lot of our indigenous plant and animal material and conduct our own research and development to improve the strain of the breeds as we so desire. So we have to be smarter than them. So I would like us to, while we're hearing this team beating down the place, and they're trying to introduce it now to our youths, because they had a lot of youths attending, students, a fair number of them, attending the sessions. They're trying now to imbibe in the mind of our youths this thing about climate smart. But we have to make sure we imbibe in the heads and the mind of our youths to be smart, people smart. Be smart, be smarter than them. Always one step ahead. Right. Okay? And we have people in the region who can do that, who can get this message and get the knowledge out to our people so that our agricultural sector becomes second to none in the entire Americas, second to none, in terms of its efficiency, its productivity, and its sustainability. We have to do that. That's where we're going. The other thing that they speak about is value chain. Everywhere these people look, all they see is a chain. They have been seeing chain for centuries. And every time they see a chain, they see value for themselves. And we here, we have been seeing the chains, but the chains have been in the wrong place, either physically in us or mentally in us. And we have not seen the value. So that lexicon, that word, that terminology, don't take it simple. It's been there deliberate, it's been place for a long time. And never mind them, I tell you that it just came into being a few years ago, like 40, 50 years ago. No. It was popularized at that time, but that was in the beginning since they start kidnapping our people from the mainland and bringing them over here in chains, because that was their value, in chains. And we're not going down that road. We are not, the people right now, this generation of people in the Caribbean, are not going down your road of being anyone's value in chains, physically or mentally, because we see what that has done and what it is doing to our people. Look where our food import bill is. Apart from that, look where our inputs import bill is. Every time there is something in the system, which is supposed to be, they say, okay, you see that? If we affect, and I'm showing you one of the methodologies which they use to have us in these chains. Okay? Eat imported food, a negative trade balance in terms of the agriculture sector, a high rate of non-communicable disease, one of the sickest regions in the world right now. Low productivity, because when people get sick in these ways, they can't work in agriculture. You don't have the energy to spend 6, 7, 8 hours out there in the elements, and that is needed. So you get weak. So we have to move away from that. And this might be the hardest. Well, this and the climate smart are the two definite hardest terms. Philosophically, psychologically, for our people, especially our intellectuals and academics who are engaged, working honestly in these institutions. We have to find a way to get them mentally and psychologically relieved from this thing, because they cannot be seen as being an accomplice in any way to that system which want to mentally and otherwise and economically chain our people again, enslave our people in these chains. No way, we're not going down that road. We're not going down that road. They feed you crap, and then they bring out these crap things they sell in their pharmacies to treat you. Not to cure, because they aren't curing anything. They treat you so that all your energy and strength goes to make them more rich, enrich them, and we come weaker and poorer. That week of Caribbean agriculture has revealed a lot. The importance, the tremendous importance of having our own food in the region, our own clean food. And I take my hat off to all those countries who are proceeding along that way, and the governments for standing up to the terror from outside and proceeding along that way to make sure our people eat clean and nutritious and healthy food from now going forward. We cannot go down in that road again. We're not going down that road again. Definitely live in Babylon. So not two ways about that. Okay? Now, some of the things that we find, right, is that Some of our countries are well on the way to achieving their 25 by 25 commitment. That is cutting their food import bill by 25% by 2025, which is very good. Very, very good. But we also found out, and this is where the right data comes important. And going forward, we have to make sure, and I am one who's going to make sure that we have to get the funding to set up our things. Our ancestors already worked for that money to inform our agricultural sector of certain things, and our whole nation, by the way. It was revealed that the cost of a healthy diet, listen to this, the cost of a healthy diet, anyone who decides to eat healthy anywhere in this country, the cost of a healthy diet is the highest world. So any one of our people who decide to eat a healthy diet, you are paying more than anyone else in the world for it, even though you're eating the same things. Now you ask yourself, how does this make sense to you? Makes any sense at all? It certainly can't make dollars. When you look around a country like this, with ample, fresh, clean running water, a Caribbean island climate, has the best structured soils in the entire America. In that, when you're going to flood, the only flood we know is the guy using football. If you're concrete, you might get a little small flood, but before the cloud pass, depends even if rain come. Not that the undersoil is moist, but there's sun. And that is the blessing we have with our soils. And deep too. Our soils are asked, you find a for who wants to live healthy, regardless to what it should healthy diet area in the world. We should not be living there. How then can we feed our squad? The families could money every day, 5 days a week to send the children to school. And I talk because children can the mother the father in there most of the time than them by should be 90 in not eat to a food. This a lot of work. Yes, okay, right. We are online again. We're there again. I have to make sure that this information site, this network, is available to our main agricultural marketers. People like my brethren, Ariston and others. You have to have this this link. The information here is too important for you not to be able to be keeping up with it. It's a regional vegetables import data. And when you look at that data, you see why that it's not getting to our people. Because our people would make use of it and be more business-like and be more innovative. Now, do you know that in the region, The two largest, and I'm talking about the same people, some of the same people who are in this meeting, representatives, the two largest importers of lettuce, yes, lettuce I'm saying, is the Bahamas, which imports 62% of its lettuce consumption, 62%. Well, they import 62% of the lettuce that comes into the region. Put it that way. And Trinidad and Tobago, right down there, one of our oldest trading partners, second only to Barbados, historically, which imports 11% of the region. So between them, they import 73% of all the lettuce that comes into the region. Now let me just look at this commodity. Let's look before I go on further. So Trinidad is right there. We've been trading in Trinidad for generations. Trading with Trinidad for generations. Since the 18th century. Before our people, some of our people were exiled. We've been trading with Trinidad. Yes. Mightn't tell you that in school, but that's a fact. Now here we are. You have, and this brings up the old talk they had the other day about aggregators, which is just another sideline. We have people here who do supplying to the hospitality sector. I said, I hope I can use my good friend as an example. Very innovative and hard-working young person. Here is a person. Look at him. He represents a group of entrepreneurs in the agricultural sector. So I'm just using him as an example. Here you have people like him, high intellect, high academically trained, chose agriculture and food and marketing. Right. So you're attracting the kind of people you need at that level. Where is the support in the system for people like them? If it was a system. Because it is a chain, there is no support. So he is chained, he and other people. They cannot get to do what they want to do. First of all, they don't have this information. Secondly, they do not have the organizational wherewithal in terms of the funding and the support to say that they could get 30, 40 acres of lettuce, calling a commodity, organized on a consistent production level so that they could supply to a buyer in Trinidad. And this can be done if these things are provided. But you prefer to have Trinidad importing. We in the region, 11% of our lettuce imports on a year, which in itself comes to hundreds of millions of dollars. We ain't talking no small money here, right? We're just talking one commodity. And then the region itself, the government, the same CARICOM who had this week of agriculture, putting the transportation infrastructure in place, the cool system, the cool part of the system, so that when our lettuce leaves here, they arrive safely and crisply and fresh in Trinidad. See anything wrong with that? We're not talking days, we're talking hours to move a commodity from one place to the next in this modern time. But no, here you have it. That data is not even known to most of our people. It's a good thing I went to these sessions to get this thing out. Then you have commodities now, especially now in the cool season, broccoli and cauliflower. Barbados has 38% of the import market in this region. Barbados imports $4.3 million a year. Barbados money. Right? Of broccoli and cauliflower. You know these things are seasonal. So we and Barbados are our first trading partners. Way before any European came here, we started trading. Indigenous peoples. So here we are centuries later now, that because of the developments in Barbados in terms of its attraction to tourists and other people and so on. And it's trade, it's daily number of flights that come from outside. It's hospitality sector and it's local sector. Requiring to import $4.3 million worth of broccoli and cauliflower a year. And having to bring it from countries where like now snow already looking to fall. And we could do the same thing in the region here. And as using my brother as an example, why can't we shift some of that? Even now as we speak in 25 by 25, the resources, the funding in these things, set it up so that our local people, like him and my good friend at Belmont, Winwood, okay, can organize, along with a couple other people, the production marketing system, the marketing production system, because it starts from the market, and come off of this value chain foolishness, so that we could have something going where every week farmers of, at least for the season, broccoli, cauliflower, and all year for the farmers of lettuce could have something coming in their hands because they are growing it for a market which requires it right in the region here. Right here. We have cabbage and kale, another two cool season. We just into the cool season now, crops. We're between Trinidad and Barbados again. You have over $4 million market. And right here in St. Vincent, we have a market for 221,000 US dollars a year, right here, between cabbage and kale. So why are the marketing production system not in place? These things are done by design. These things are done by design. Broccoli, the region, 11.5 million. Lettuce, 10 million. These are US dollars. Cabbage and kale, 7.2 million. Tomato, 7 million. Now look at these figures. It's about $35 million US dollars there, right? That's nearly 100 million EC dollars, right? Look at these in light of what happened in St. Vincent in the last 8-10 years. In terms of the same organizations who were there spouting all their narratives at the Caribbean Week of Agriculture. And these are the ones who provide what they call grants and loans, and of course, and loans, because they always want to move from the grant to the loan. And they provide the policy framework. In our case here, we had a European Union funded program started in 2013. Was to run for around 2013, 2014. Banana Adjustment Measures. BAM, they call it for short. And no wonder the children in Camden Park, when they heard that name, they say, "Bishai, there's a trouble thing in here. BAM, that sounds like an accident, Something hit up. Already was saying that. Banana Adjustment Measures, meaning that our agricultural sector should adjust in measures to compensate for and cushion the loss of our banana earnings because of the change in the international market regime. So one of the things that we went big for, which we didn't know anything about, we just heard it sound like a fancy term, like an evangelist coming with a big term and you just say, yes, amen, amen, is greenhouse parks. And they went for it in a big way. Both the suppliers, the funders, and the local government here And everything about that thing went wrong. Everything. You can just go and see the site for yourself. I've been saying that since 2015, 2016. As a matter of fact, I said it from 2014 when I was in a meeting that decided it should go in where that location it was. Starting with location. One of the sad things about these things is that the international representative to the area came here and said it would have been a game changer, meaning that it will advance our agriculture to the highest level at the opening. So how could we have these speeches being made by the representatives, the official representatives of these organizations? And then when you look at the reality, it's total reverse. It's the flip side. And then now, you're coming again in Caribbean Week of Agriculture and telling us about climate smart. Whereas, if we were smart, we wouldn't have had that problem. But we rely on the climate to be smart. That is not climate smart. And that is not even smart doing what the climate is. We have to be smart. We have to, if we had people smart agriculture, in the first place, that facility would not have been there. In the second place, the way it was organized, it would not have been organized so. And this facility was organized along with some major buying depots, boxing depots, where we could market in depots, where things would have been packaged, received, weighed, sorted, graded, packaged properly and leaving there. No. This is where, in the whole mix, if it was a systems approach, people like my friend who I'm referring to, Denny, and he would have been tied into it from day one and be a part of it. People like the Teachers Cooperative Credit Union, who has an area now where they're on lending money to the agricultural sector, a portfolio. They would have been on board long time, and because they would have known exactly what they're dealing with. And this brings me to the third narrative that they're using, this term targeted. You see that term? We have to keep so far away from that. That even psychologically keeping away from that would reduce crime in our country. I'm telling you. We have to look at goals. You see, like how big up to Ezra Hendrickson and the team and his management staff, his coaching staff. You see, like how we score on El Salvador? That's what we have to do. We ain't target, we score. Goal. Goal is goal when matches, not target. Goal. So we have to look at the goal and aim for the goal and score. And that is what we have to do going forward. That is what we have to do and how we have to do it going forward. Right? So we should have been in a position right now where those markets in the region for broccoli, cauliflower, cabbage, kale, lettuce, tomato, we would have had a big slice of that market share. That is where we should have been right now. So when they go into Kingston and they like today, the place buzzing. Imagine Tuesday used to be an agricultural day in camp in St. Vincent. And he went into town today, my goodness, look at the, wow, you can't even call that pace, it's pure spin. Yeah, even a medium pace bowler faster than that. It's pure spin, the economy spinning like top in mud. That's what we have to do. Get ourselves up out of this darkness and start stepping, which is a dance, into the light. So we find the rhythm. That's what we have to do as a people. Work together. Time of the old talk done. Action. So, one of the things that I did not hear, I can't remember, I attended Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Those were the open sessions. Friday was the closed session. I didn't go to every session, but I went to at least 2 sessions a day. And in those sessions, I have never heard the term empowerment of people. And I'm saying to myself, as somebody trained officially and at the highest level in agricultural development, how could you have Caribbean Week of Agriculture and they have so many organizations here which say they are research and development oriented, and you're hearing a lot about the research, but when it gets to the development, you're not hearing them emphasizing that, except on the Thursday when I went to a session with UWI. I'll get to that session, that analysis a little later, right? And to some extent, CARDI. But the others, the regional ones, the international ones, those who want to say they are giving you grant money, that phrase doesn't exist in their lexicon at all. Because they realize that if they were really to assist, which they should be doing in the real development of our region, then we will go so quick and fast that we will be independent mentally and otherwise in a very short time, and they cannot afford that. They cannot afford that because that is not what they have targeted, but that is our goal. That is why we have to go for goals and forget their targets. We must do that. No two ways about that. So in going forward, that is where we have to pitch our game. The agribusiness financing, it says that is the only financial sector in the region where the trend is upwards. All other areas are flatlined. Now, well, if that is so, and I have no reason to doubt that, and these are facts again that our agricultural organizations and their leaderships must know. Proper policies going forward, both individually and collectively. If this is so, that agriculture is trending upward, agribusiness financing, where are the funds? Where are the funds, the available funds, the affordable funds for that sector, like my good friend and others I'm talking about? I'm using you tonight, my brother, as an example because in a lot of people like multi business so that he can large farming sector, which itself now will pull from the working pool, from the youth pool, from the technology pool, from the energy pool, from the transportation pool. So by the time we generate that system, that economy, that economic activity, the product of that is so much that our Tuesdays and our Wednesdays and our Thursdays they look different. People have money in their hand, in their pocket, and people happy. And the way we're going to do that is not the way that they're proposing to do that. We're going to deal with that aspect of it, the health side, when we look at the World Food Day going forward. But that, as a methodology, is what we're supposed to be doing. That's what we're supposed to be doing. Because there are people out there, if it's trending upwards, it means that there are people out there who want to get their money invested in this area. We don't want them to invest it with the value chain philosophy, because all that will do people want to be free, and we are going to be free. Just done again. No way. Another very important point that came out, fact, was the very low level of intra-regional trade in the Caribbean. Very low level of intra, that is trade within and between countries. Regional trade. Trade within the region. Very low level. So most of the trade what is being done to bring food from outside the region into the region. So that those who plan it that way could use the region as a playground for the rich and famous and for other things. And hopefully to hold on in some way to the lands which we know have other resources which are not yet exploited. Yes, that's the whole game plan. But if they think so we done, we never come, man. You gotta think again. You gotta think again. So here we are at this time with only few countries on track to achieve their 25 by 25 goal. We, as it looks right now in this country, with all due respects to the hard-working ministry and Minister of Agriculture, and I'm saying this publicly, the whole ministry is being maligned, underdeveloped, underfunded, totally under-budgeted for years, deliberately. We ain't gonna talk about the reason now. Enough people know the reason. Deliberately. Because they want, when they make one of us look bad, they make all of we look bad. And we ain't taking that. We ain't playing nothing, no politics here. We're talking about us as a people. And that's where we have to be. We have to cut out this divide and rule thing. And see further than that. See further than that. When they make one of our kind look bad, all of us look bad. So, we gotta make sure in this country that our resources, our natural resources, which include our lands, and of course, our most valuable resource, our people, are put together to work, harmonize, to develop the best product we have. And right now, food and health are primary things. We cannot be chained health-wise, and be relying on their service, their products, because their products are not getting us healthy. Healthy food. They also have a lot of financial funding difficulties, especially for small businesses. A lot of financial funding difficulties, and these have to be resolved. Because all you hear when you listen to certain stations is that how much money St. Vincent Barrow here and so much money St. Vincent Ode and these kind of things. And you're hearing it in the other countries too. But the money is not for unlending to the people who really want to use it for development purposes, to create more money on the money for economic expansion. And that is why we are poverty stricken. We're not poor, we're just poverty stricken because the wealth is ours. And we have to get to know that the wealth is ours and know where the wealth is and know how to work to get it collectively and individually so that we realize it. I don't know how much time has gone since we're here. I think we're probably coming up to the first. And do now, I will ask for one of the songs I have requested, the Babylon System. And then after that, we will get some words from our sponsors, our good radio station, and then we'll come forward for this second session of this program where we will be really blazing. So, my brother, if you have it lined up now, let Bob tell us about the Babylon System. Because we know it's a vampire. Wait till I.
Boost your brand's visibility with Branding by Weeks. At Branding by Weeks, we are passionate about helping brands gain exposure and make a significant impact. Let us elevate your brand's visibility and reach new heights. Connect with us today by email at spweeks@hotmail.com or message us on WhatsApp 613-866-8939.
It's the Vin Abbott Show with news, views, and interviews. The music in the mix on Saturdays, 4 p.m. Kankadi Radio.
News and sports every Mondays to Friday on BayHillNews.net on 6:30 a.m. and 6 p.m.
Island Style Souvenir and Clothing Store. We carry everything you need in souvenirs. T-shirts in all different sizes. Cap, keychains, key rings, plaques and banners, magnets, ID holders, mugs, and we even carry St. Vincent flag. And that's not all. We carry Hawaiian style t-shirts and dresses, handbags with matching scarves. We also carry tie-dye dresses, shirts, and tops. Everything in our store are made right here in St. Vincent and the Grenadines. So come on over and check us out. We are located at the cruise ship berth in Kingston, Island Style.
Hi friends, what's happening in your corner? Be it a group meeting, a sporting activity, a community activity, some upcoming event. Whatever's happening in your corner, let us know. We share it on Kankadi Radio. So email us at kankadi.radio@gmail.com. That's CANCARDI.radio@gmail.com. We are in your corner.
Join your host, Ras Bish, for Stepping into the Light at Bihill Online Radio and Kankadi Radio. Ras Bish steps into the light of food and agriculture, culture and liberty. Stepping into the light lifts the level of your self-consciousness, activates your collective security genetic code, raises your earthly vibration. To win in this Armageddon, you must listen to Stepping into the Light with host Ras Bish. Yes, we're here again. So we're going to give you now the biodynamic gardening for planting by the moon phase guide for the period Wednesday 16 October, that's tomorrow, to Tuesday 22nd October 2024, next Tuesday. Now, as you know from our last program, we are into the waxing gibbous phase of the moon. Moon is getting big. Bigger. Waxing gibbous. Tomorrow will be the final day of that phase, waxing gibbous. So if you haven't done any planting of seed setting in particular, planting of, or seed planting of a grown fruit plants in particular, also corn and flowers, tomorrow is your final day, so to do, to get the best out of the crop. This phase, okay? So whatever you have to do, plant it tomorrow. You still have that okra seed put up you didn't plant? Start chip some holes tomorrow and plant them. Okay? Put them. Right. On Thursday, the 17th, well tomorrow first of all will also be World Food Day. And we'll get into that after this part of the program. October the 17th on Thursday is the full moon, and it's a lovely full harvest moon. The actual full moon will be like in the middle of the day, just after 11 a.m. But you will see it in the night a lot. You will see the big moon in the night, that night, Thursday night. This is the time to rest from planting. Take this day off. Come like the Sabbath to the planting. You celebrate. Give thanks, praise, and you meditate. And of course you reason together. It's also a good day to pick medicinal herbs and plants. Good day to pick medicinal herbs and plants. So all who are engaged in harvesting medicinal herbs and plants, tomorrow is good, but Thursday is better. Thursday, full moon day, great day. From Friday, the moon starts into a new phase, which you call waning gibbous. Because on Thursday, it wouldn't get fuller than full. So after full, starts waning. And it would wane right up until you get to that last quarter moon phase. It would wane gibbous. That waning gibbous phase will go right up until last quarter. Now this is the time when our elder people, our ancestors, and they use this knowledge of the moon, this astrological knowledge of the moon. Not in terms of the sign, but in terms of the energy of the moon. To plant below ground plants. Because in this phase of the moon the earth will be inhaling and not exhaling. So the below ground plants, or root plants, they also plant trees and shrubs and trees that will bear for a long time, perennials. They also use the period to harvest, because it's the time when you harvest things, they stick long up on the shelf. They harvest all crops, and in the lands, they would also, when I was small, I used to hear my uncle, he was a farmer and a farm worker, and other people saying, you see, when they come to the backbone, that the time we go fertilize, so they would fertilize, or manure. Fertilize doesn't mean not chemical fertilizers. Fertilizers to feed, fertilize to make fertile. Okay? So do it in an organic way. They would do that, they would weed and mold and feed the plant at the same time, depends on what the root crops. Okay? It's also a good time to transplant whatever seedlings you have, and to mow lawns and prune. So there are a lot of activities to be done in this week, the remaining time of this week and next week, because it goes right up until next Tuesday. Same activities that I just outlined there. So I want you to make the best use of it. Remember, never mind how small the space is. Never mind how small the space is. Even you have to use containers. Because we have good soil. Just pick up some good soil somewhere and do it organically. Use compost and manure, both liquid and solid. And we have liquid available now commercially, good liquid manures, right? So if you didn't have any of your own, you could use that. And you keep farming in that way. That's an area to beat their forced climate change by smart farming. And you make sure that you plant in a system where you don't plant too much one time and then you don't have anything the next time. You keep it in a rhythm. So you always have something to harvest. Okay. Yes. So you do that and you will be fine. In terms of World Food Day, which is celebrated on the 16th of October every year for some time now. Okay? Several decades now it's been celebrated. And they always have some fancy theme. But when you look at the reality of what is happening in the region and in this country, we are celebrating World Food Day, no doubt. But as the children, I just love Campton children, ask me all the time, say, Bishai, they must celebrate World Food Day, but we party Food Day. There's no food in Vincy. There's no food. If you want to see any food, you go on the wharf, or you go in the front of the market and you see them vans open up their back door open up and they're selling all kind of imported this and imported that and imported that. But food in Vincy, I tell you, right now we are really at the foot of the ladder. And I say that because we have to climb that ladder and get to the top of the ladder. So the theme is right to foods for a better life and a better future. Let me say that again. Right to life, right to foods rather, right to food. You must have the right to foods for a better life and a better future. Now, that theme has a lot in it. And it spotlights the importance of diversity, nutrition, and affordability. I want to start with the last one, affordability. I saw a post late this evening when I was going through my phone. And I have not the first time I'm seeing that post. But this post now came from a young press reporter. Happened to be from my area to Campton. Nowhere to be seen in this country. Nowhere to be seen because it has been deliberately targeted. Yes, that's their words and that is the action. Deliberately targeted since 2013 by an ailment called citrus greening. We were not the only ones who suffer from it, but we are the ones who have suffered the most because most other countries didn't get it as hard as us. We were not as resilient as other countries, and they have bounced back and we have bounced out. When last you saw 2 heaps of good limes in this country. Yes, so here you have 2 oranges being retailed for nearly $20. And it's not price gouging by the supermarket. It's just the reality of what it is. Oranges. Someone like I who grew up in Camden Park on the brink of the experiment station, where in their nursery, here we call it nursery, which was filled with citrus, where grafting and budding and cutting and all these things went on a daily basis. And where you could go and buy your plants, your citrus plants. And where in the village, almost everyone had some citrus plant in the garden, the little garden. At least one. We used to take limes and oranges, young oranges. I mean, in those days we were a bit naughty because we never used to pay for them. To play cricket, play bat and ball in the garden. That is how, I'm just showing you that to see how popular they were. How available they were, how prevalent they were. Right now, if you see a good lime, you feel good. The good thing is, we know how to overcome that disease. We know. Yours truly has done it for over 8 years now. Using certain products which are not available here. 100% organic, 100% beyond organic, 100% microbial. And we will soon be having them in this country again. The right time soon come again. So if they think that they're holding us down with those pestilence and disease, they're just wasting time. Because we have the solution to that pollution. Long time. We have it. Same thing with the mango seed weevil. We have the solution to the pollution. Same thing with the Tanya-borne disease. We have the solution to the pollution. Yes. So our agriculture, we know. We are in a position to transform the agriculture and not to reform the agriculture. So we have to work together. We have to work together. And we are going to work together. We going forward, you hear what it says? Hear the team? We are going to run with this team, you know. We are going to right to foods for a better life and a better future. That means it's a right of everyone. We are going to work to make sure that our school feeding program the marketing and production system going forward and get rid of all the chains, whether from an institution perspective, from a ministry perspective, from a private sector perspective, from a community perspective, from a financial sector perspective, from every perspective. We have to get rid of all these chains. Yeah, send them back where they come from. And we know where they come from. And go forward with a system. Imagine if your blood circulation was a chain and not a system. You know what happened? The blood would run out your foot. All the blood would run out your foot from the time it reached there. Just gravity alone would pull it out. But the system. So when it get down to the feet, it get pulled right up again to the heart. And then go further from the up to the head. It ain't no chain in that. It's a system. Same like a respiratory system. So let us build systems and stop building chains to train ourselves up. So the right to foods for a better life, what should happen? They say affordability. We have to make food more affordable. But here what happened? To do that, it means we have to be more efficient at every level of production and of every marketing. Right now, the two of the biggest social problems we have in the region, two of the biggest social problems in the region in agriculture. You know what they are? Some people might know what they are. But it's agriculture, labor, workforce, and pre-deal larceny. Agricultural workforce because one, the narrative that agriculture is a thing of the past and the actions to downplay agriculture in the region, in particular in this country, and spreading narratives from certain platforms, particularly political platforms and others, that they think them girl war and dirty and all them kind of thing, has forced a state of false pride in our people and false belief that agriculture is dirty. When in other countries, countries that are coming world powers now, that is the sector that they're pushing. That is the sector that they're pushing. Because without food, never mind how intelligent you think you are, you can't live without eating. You have to eat. You have to eat and you have to eat the right things. But they want to do it to force their kind of food on us. Where they have all these products which take away from your self-confidence, your mental health, your thought pattern, and everything. So you just become like a zombie. That's it. We don't want that. We want food with the right vibrations. And that is what we have to do. Make sure we get our food with the right vibrations. That is what we have to go to. Affordability means that we have to, how do we tackle this problem? We tackle this problem by empowering our people at every level. We empower people so that they get healthy to be more productive. We empower them in training, in knowledge, in know-how in facilities and in policy. Get them involved in policy formulation also. Their thoughts have to be taken on board. And we do it in a systematic way to make sure that they start learning that we integrate it into our curriculum, our teaching system. So that when a youth reaches 5, they are conscious of certain things. When they reach 7, they are more. When they reach 10, they're conscious of a little more. By the time they get to secondary school, they are well into the system and they keep it practicing to be in the system. We don't have these things. These are the things that we have to put in place. And these things, they don't come from no one political party. Don't make nobody fool you. We, the people, have to make sure that these things happen as a people. Because in the region, if you don't know the whole thing, you ain't going to know again. Most of the political parties are controlled by the darkness outside. And in many countries, they control both parties. And until we get people in these parties who are strong enough and brave enough to confront that and say, look, this is how it's been going so, but I come here to stop that crap. And no, we ain't following no darkness. We have to develop our own narrative. We have to develop our own philosophy. We have to develop our own methodology to get to the goal. And we work together and we will get there because, as Bob say, have no fear for atomic energy. It just didn't mean bombs. That's a metaphor. Have no fear for what they could do. Can't do anything. This is the time. This is the time. So no care how they can't claim up. So we have to rebel. Not with gun and bullets in that form. We have to rebel in a spiritual way and in a real way, organizational way. This is the time for us to float our Black Star liners all over the Caribbean. Right here. And the Black Star liner could only sail when it get cargo from the land. So one of the things that we should be saying in this country is that by 2025, we should increase our cropland. Between now and 2025, we still have some months to go, but we could put a program to increase our cropland by another 25% by the start of 2025, because we have a whole winter season coming up there. So, but you hearing any of these programs? Not that they hard to implement. Some people getting inputs, which is good. Some of the inputs are not the inputs we should be using, but at least the principle is there. People getting inputs. Some people getting inputs which are good. We need to make sure that we strengthen that effort. And where people have to have expenditures to get those inputs in terms of the seeds and other things properly into the land has to be prepared and so on. This is the financing that is needed now. Speaking about inputs, right now, for the people, last week I mentioned that an indigenous grouping of people, indigenous people residing in New York, a lot of them from our exiled Garifuna people. They live in Central America, Honduras, Belize, and so on. They put a little funding together. They contacted me as to what they wanted to do with it. We made a lot of progress, and we are at the point now where the funds are with the input warehouse. We are taking pure. We are not taking any chemicals from that fund. Not at all. We are taking this thing from there, because that was the only, fortunately or unfortunately, that is the only inputs provider, which has had more than 90% or 80% of what we really needed. And in terms of getting it done administratively, we have to go with them because of the convoluted way of the IRS in America when you're sending things outside. So much paperwork, but if you do it that way, it cuts down the paperwork by 90%. So we are on the stream to do that. The farmers and in the communities who have been chosen would know who they are. Within a few days, you will be given a notice, and I'll make sure that Bay Hill has the information too. We will call you to put it out there so that you come, and we would like you to come probably on the same day, so we could have a good photo up. You collect your package of inputs. You know what you already told what you're supposed to do with them. You go in your community and you spread it as far as it can go, and you keep moving from there, because we are not just saying this team. We are not just talking the talk, we are walking the walk, and not what a better way to walk the walk with the link from our indigenous brothers and sisters in New York. Big up to you, Sister Carla and the group, for giving a few farmers, a few communities this start at this important time. That is why we're trying to get it off this week. The week of World Food Day and a week after Caribbean agriculture. Because it spotlights the importance of diversity, of nutrition, and of affordability. In terms of nutrition, again, we are staying away from the genetically modified products in everything we do. So we are looking for heirloom in the first instance, if not the F1, the first generation seeds, which would give you a few crops before you have to buy new seeds again, before they outbreed. So that is the policy and principle which we are following. In terms of the nutrition again, we are using pure organic fertilizers inputs, liquids or solids. And we have some new findings, which I would not say at this moment, but the farmers who are going to get these inputs, you will know what we're doing. We're giving you some guides. A lot of the seeds that we are giving you are very well suitable for this season in terms of their likeness for this time of the year, but they're also important in that these foods have been pointed out to be lacking in our diets. As a people, we only eat about 35 to 36% on a daily basis of the vegetables we need to consume to be healthy. So you have a chance now to start in your neighborhood and increase that production, increase that consumption right there, and to keep it going. And that's a very good effort that our indigenous people have allowed us to be able to participate in. Okay? So nutrition is very important. We have to get rid of obesity within the next 5 to 10 years. We can. Don't make nobody tell you we can. We can. It's a process we have to follow, but we can put it in place. Also, we have to get rid of diabetes. We have the medicines. We have our local herbal medicines that high blood pressure and all these things. We run them things out of town, man. Yeah, we'll talk about that again in another program coming up. And we get some of the people who have been saved from that to testify, to say it live so you could hear what is happening. And it ain't coming back. It's not a treat and it come back. Get rid of it. We know what we're doing. And a lot of the produce is produced right here locally. And then the diversity. Diversity means that it's just that you have to spread out. You have to have a wide range of things. So when the product of these things, the harmony of these things is what keeps away, what beats the climate smart people who feel it smart with the climate. That is the diversity. Diversity is like our football team on Sunday. We didn't play in the middle alone. We spread it out, go wide. Remember that? The goal came from the wing, the ball cross. Yeah, man, beat everybody. The guy just tapped it in the goal. That was it. So, diversity is the thing. And we have to increase that and improve that in every aspect of our agriculture. Okay, yeah. So, what should happen going forward? What should happen going forward is that the government, whichever government, They have a commitment. That is why they're supposed to govern, right? Has to make sure they're the ones in link right up front, supposed to be representing the people in every country, including this one, which deals at the international level, like His Majesty Shoi, the United Nations and these levels, where programs and policies and so on are formulated for the benefit, should be formulated for the benefit of the people, of the development of the people. And if our issues are really taken there, and things happen as they should happen, they're not happening now because these institutions themselves need reforming. Funds should be available, not just the government to see like what happened in Montreal Gardens. No, but to organize private sector people working with the public sector and putting in reality what they call public-private partnerships. I don't mean when I say private sector, there are so many big people. I mean the small people organized so that real things could happen. So when you're talking about reducing in our case, we have our 25% right now in terms of imported vegetables, just for this country alone, a year, 25% is $7.5 million a year. Now you should be able to call some of our leading food traders, local, again like my brother who supplies the hospitality sector, Arslan. You call these guys since in spring, early this year and say, hey, what happened? The tourist season end. Let me plan for the next one. This is what we expect. This is how many visitors we expect to do. This is what their consumption pattern looks like, in terms of quantity, right? In terms of diversity. This is what we have to do. We imported most of this to feed that. We want to replace this import with local. You know the people out there. You know what they need. Let us work together, put a program together here, the funding. It coming to the Caribbean Development Bank back. You put the traceability system in place. That's what we do. The money comes, things start to flow. Bap, you ready? You get everything in place. And from the time the first boat reach, you're ready to supply. And of course, you put the policy in place. I said this several times, I'm going to say it again. Our tourism, the way our tourism is operated is a total joke. I don't know if it happens in the rest of the region, but I have to talk for here. Tourism, we should be telling these people, they shouldn't be telling us. And don't give me no crap about they pull up in Miami and they pull up in that crap. If you're pulling up in Miami, stay there. I know you have to come here. There is no way that tourists do not want to come here. Their wanting to come here is much more bigger than they not wanting to come here. So they will come here. We just have to have the knowledge and the sense and the belly to put things in place so that when you come here, if you spend 2, 3, 4, 5 days, 70% of your meals, you have to buy local food. Can't come here and just eat something you bring from quite up there, nobody know it come from, and then leave your mess in our waters. No way. You have to buy local food. Especially our hotel guests, our hotel sector, they have to serve at least 70% of the food as local food. Otherwise, I don't care what your brand name is. You ain't coming here and setting up any hotel to load us with imports. We made that mistake when we opened up the Grenadines in the 1990s, allowing these people to do what they want. And this government come and it just exacerbate that. So that is why our food import bill is up and because we're not harmonizing and twinning the needs of the hospitality and tourism sector with the capabilities of our agricultural sector. Because we want to keep some people as poverty stricken. Not poor, we're not poor. You can't keep us poor. We're rich as a people. But just that we don't know because our energies are not organized to lift us out of that. That we get in. Saying that, having said that, the UWI, I have to put this one in here, had an excellent session on Thursday. And they are suffering. That is why the Caribbean Agriculture is suffering. UWI, which is our leading institute, agricultural institute, and at one time was a leading agricultural institute in the world, one of the leading ones. But what has happened over the decades is that because of lack of funding and support, genuine support by the regional governments, which they have committed to on paper, our best brains and our best people have left and gone to what they call greener pastures. So we have a brain drain there. And this is what the people have said on the analysis. And the infrastructure itself has broken down. They do not have the top level equipment to do what they're supposed to do to help the agricultural sectors in these countries. Right? And there's a lack of research funding for critical things. Because governments like to talk about, oh, the Taiwanese will do this and the Vietnamese will do that and that. You cannot put someone, or how should I phrase this now? Right. Someone who is out there, you can't bring, and this is not accusing anyone, this is just what happening. You can't bring an economic hitman to build the economy. A paid economic hitman to bring the economy, or hitwoman to bring the economy. It wouldn't happen. And that's what be happening to us. That's why we gone down the road in agriculture. Because in the region here and in this country here, we have closed our eyes, our governments have closed their eyes and allow economic hit people to come in here. Happening for decades. Not just now. Probably get worse now. To tie us up in a way that we didn't even know. To value chain us in a way that we didn't even know. And stymie our agriculture. And all of a sudden, our regional institutions, which have played such a great role in the past in keeping our agriculture in a positive way, have been underfunded. And our agricultural ministries have been underfunded. So now we are now reliant on the same arsonists to try and out our fire. You can't do that. You don't pay arsonists to out fire. So we, our people, have to be smart. That is why we're not following any climate smart. We have to follow a people smart agenda. Only way out of Babylon. People smart. Work together. We have resources that have come into the region. And because we are not awake, because we have what we're supposed to have seeing is fossilized. We're not seeing anything. We're not seeing. We're waiting on someone to tell us what to do. We have natural resources that came into our region, and we have not made use of it. But we're going to make use of it going forward. We're going to make a lot of use of the natural resources we have going forward. Because we have to make our food, according to the theme, affordable. We have to work on the affordability of our food. We have to take these themes serious. Even though the governments are not taking them serious, we the people must take it serious. We have to get the nutrition up. That is why I'm saying to you, Minister of Agriculture, Brother Minister of Agriculture, yes, you're our brother. Never mind what you think. Can't change melanin. It's there. The inputs you are getting from outside, I'm saying it again for the second time to you publicly. Reduce the chemical load by 50% and look for a natural, organic, sustainable 50% to come. Because there are lots of farmers here who want to go that way. But the inputs are not there. There are certain crucial inputs that are really needed right now. And nobody is stuck in them. So we have to go that way. We have to start. That is the start of the transformation. The funding that is needed for our people, whether you're in the production side, the transformation side, the marketing side, or the the transporting side. The funding that is needed there needs to be put in place. And I'm calling you out, the Caribbean Development Bank. Where is the development in your agenda? CDB. Where is the D? The D has to be seen. The D cannot be seen in cement and stone alone. It has to be seen in people, human development. And a lot of that development fund must come to the public, private, to the private, not the public so much, the private. The public could have it, yes, you have to build infrastructure, roads, which the Prime Minister alluded to on Monday in his opening speech, which was a good thing. First time I've heard him address that in that manner. And I say, well, probably he had something special for breakfast this morning. We need roads in this country. Lots of feeder roads. And whichever government gets there when the time comes, they have to build these things up front. Must build them. We not just need roads, we need transportation system, because where roads, where the environment is sensitive and we cannot build roads, we have to build cable systems or even use the more modern one of drones, freight drones to airlift stuff in and out of where we are. Are we not a big country, a small country? You cross over one valley and you're already in the town. One ridge. So we shouldn't be backward. We should not be backward. The University of the West Indies has received in this session the advice of the public, the regional public, which was good. Different people from different islands gave their 2 bits, and in many cases, all the islands were seeing it similarly. So that they now have their work cut out for them to get to their governance structures and say, this is what the people require. This is how we go forward. One of the things they know they have to do is to change their agenda. Not just the agenda, their curriculum. And they have accepted that on board. Their curriculum has to be more development focused now. Real development. And it has to start at every level. And it has to operate in the off campuses, the island campus. Like in St. Vincent here, we have to have several University West Indies courses, well funded too, operating here, related to the food and agricultural sector. Outside of that, we're not going anywhere. We're not going anywhere, but we have to go somewhere. Because this is the time. This is the time. So it's forward you're going. And remember, when you're going forward with anything, include Bay Hill Radio. We have to include Bay Hill Radio. It's the only radio station that pays significant attention to people who have a program, a real program, dealing with healing and the agricultural sector. So big up to you again, Bay Hill. Now, in terms of, we're dealing with culture also, getting the vibes to know where we are going, right? We know, all of us know, that old pirates rob us. All the old pirates robbed us. Okay? That's it. They took us from the merchant ships. We know that not everybody who here were brought across the Atlantic. Far from that. Lots of people who were here in the region, in the Americas, were enslaved. Were never slaves, they were enslaved. They were kidnapped and made to work long hours, sun up to sundown, sometimes even after sundown, to sustain the value chain of the oppressor. Right? But we know that right now, the songs we are singing are redemption songs. Because their time has come to an end, and our time we now come in. Their time has come to an end, and we are now rising. We are rising in this time of Aquarius. So, we're going to ask Bob to join us and sing one of these redemption songs with us. Yes, before I go, I want to inform you that coming up short in the next program or two, I'm gonna take an in-depth look at our cannabis market or marijuana market, the problems that face right now, especially from the perspective of the local growers, the traditional growers, and who all this industry was built, blood, sweat, and tears, and where we go from there, how we could achieve using their own statistics, their own data, regain 25% of our market by 2025. How could we regaining 25% of our cannabis local market minimum as traditional farmers by 2025? And I'm not joking, because we had a whole market stolen from us and we are not replaced with any commodity, and that money is part of the agricultural money that is missing from the daily economy. Right now, where a lot of children over St. Vincent graduates can't go to school, can't buy a meal, you go into town, and as one Vincentian who lived in Canada for several years, I met him today at the Leeward bus stop. So he's been here since February, and he just totally disgusted. He said in his life, he never expected this place would have come so. As I mean, he said, well, every 10 footsteps you make in town is somebody begging for $1 or $2. Never was like that in my days. And certainly, when our agriculture was flourishing in the 80s, late 70s, 80s, 90s, those decades particularly, right? Instead of, it was a reverse of that. You go in town and a man telling you, boy, you want something to eat, or he touch you with the hand, face full. You say, hold on, you open your hand. It's 2 glasses, man, in your hand, or glasses, man. You know that kind of way? $100 bill I'm talking about. That money gone, and where gone, I don't know, but it's not there. And replacing it now is not just the lack of money, but the lack of health, which that money used to support, and the lack of peace, which that money used to, because a lot of violence. So, look out, listen out for it. Bay Hill is the radio, along with Kankari. And I will try to get my Bajan people to stream it also on their program, Politically Incorrect. But we have to have an in-depth look at the ganja market, the ganja industry in this country. I want to have it before the Canafest, because we are presenting something there, whether they like it or not, that we have to be involved in the market. They're making a mess of all things right now. Right now on the street, you can't wear good spliff. Telling you. Too many foolishness coming to the industry, the production level. Right? We got to clean it up. And we have to recapture our local market for our traditional farmers. Even that market now is suffering from imported marijuana. Tell them, Bish, I say that. Because I know what's going on. And we have to get this foolishness out of the youth in them head about foreign seed and foreign. No. You don't know the trick and the trap they're set up for you, just like the foods. It's just another agricultural product where it will take your mind away and leave you with nothing. So with some blessings falling on the roof, saving me to go outside early tomorrow and wet my little seedlings and my big plants and keep my garden going. Have a lovely tree of lettuce germinate a couple of days ago to transplant in the next 2 weeks to 3 weeks, and I have my celery just about to burst. Make sure you plant something. Until next week, it's Exodus.